A generation that grew up without Google, survived without smartphones, and still somehow knows how to fix the Wi-Fi faster than Gen Z. Yes, today we're talking about Generation X, the silent legends. Let me ask you something. Do you know people who don't overshare feelings, don't panic easily, and say things like, "Relax, we'll manage," even when everything is clearly on fire? That's Gen X psychology in one sentence. Gen X is roughly the generation born between the mid-1960s and early 1980s. They grew up in a very interesting time, not too traditional, not too digital. Basically, they lived in both worlds, and that shaped their mindset in a powerful way. First big psychological trait, independence. Gen X learned early that no one was coming to rescue them. Parents were busy. Life was practical. So they figured things out themselves. Homework? Do it yourself. Problems? Solve it yourself. Emotions? Keep it inside and move on. That's why Gen X doesn't constantly ask for validation. They don't need likes to feel worthy. They're okay being alone because they learn how to survive alone. Second trait, healthy skepticism. Gen X doesn't trust hype easily. If you tell them, "This new app will change your life," they'll say, "Okay, but how much does it cost, and where's the catch?" They've seen trends come and go. They've seen promises break. So psychologically, they're wired to question before believing. That's also why Gen X is not impressed by fancy titles. They respect experience, not noise. Now let's talk about emotions, because this is interesting. Gen X feels deeply, but shows it quietly. They don't announce sadness on social media. They don't make dramatic posts. They process emotions internally. If a Gen X person is quiet, it doesn't mean they're empty. It means they're thinking deeply. Their emotional strength comes from endurance. They don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" They ask, "Okay, what's the next step?" Another big part of Gen X psychology. Dark humor. They joke about stress. They laugh at chaos. They use sarcasm as emotional armor. When life hits hard, Gen X doesn't cry first. They crack a joke and say, "Well, that went great." It's not coldness. It's coping. Now let's talk about technology. Gen X didn't grow up with tech, but they adapted to it. That's huge. They remember cassette tapes and streaming apps. They wrote letters and emails. They lived slow life and fast internet. Psychologically, this makes them flexible thinkers. They can adapt without losing themselves. They don't panic when technology changes. They learn it quietly without making wheels about it. Another key trait, work ethic without drama. Gen X works hard, but doesn't shout about hustle. They don't romanticize burnout. They just do what needs to be done. They value balance more than attention. Success, to them, is stability, not viral fame. And here's the most underrated part of Gen X psychology. They don't need to be seen to feel important. They're okay being behind the scenes. They're okay not being the loudest voice in the room. Confidence for them is internal. In a world obsessed with visibility, Gen X mastered invisibility without losing impact. So if you ever feel like you don't belong in the noise, if you value depth over drama, if you laugh quietly, think deeply, and move forward steadily, you might not be Gen X by age, but psychologically, you understand them. And maybe, just maybe, the world needs a little more Gen X energy right now. Comment if you're Gen X energy. Subscribe for more mind insight.